I'm Mel Stewart, and this is the SwimSwam Podcast. Joining me today, we have some very, very, very special guests. You guys are going to love this. Today, we have 12-time Olympic medalist and the current world record holder, still the world record holder in the 200 IM. We have Ryan Lochte. We also have Brian Wilson, Wisconsin grad, Olympic trials qualifier, swim entrepreneur, and he is the co-founder of the International Age Group Championships. That's coming up December 13th through the 19th, 2023 in Atlanta at the Georgia Tech Pool. We're here to talk about this big event. This is a pretty exciting event. I've been hearing about this through the grapevine. I've had some off-camera conversations with Ryan about it, but finally have the men on the pod to break this down. I'm excited for this event. Who wants to jump in and tell me how this started?
I'll tell you how it started. I was volunteer coaching at junior nationals and seeing our kids swim short course yards. And coming from Canada, I wanted to give our kids a chance to be able to compare themselves time for time with international kids throughout the world. And I came up with this idea of having an age group meet in short course meters that we'd invite kids from around the world and around the country to swim short course meters and get an opportunity to compare themselves to all their international counterparts.
It's in terms of competition in the United States, that is a bit of a hurdle, and I wonder sometimes if you're losing an edge if you're swimming yards all the time. A lot of people get upset with me when I share my opinions on swimming because they're not the most popular, but I think we should swim meters because the rest of the world swim meters all the time. So this seems like a fantastic opportunity. Ryan, how do you feel about it?
I totally agree. I mean, if we're the only country that swims yards, like why don't we go with the rest of the world and swim, instead of making it yards, make it 25 meters. I know there's a lot of facilities that are going to have to start changing their pools around, but you got to go with the world. Come on. Times are changing.
At the very least, you can train yards. Some athletes, Bobby Hackett, who was a 76 Olympian, he swam I think he swam in like a 20-yard pool, and then he would race at other distances. So it's not necessarily about you want to race, you want to train in a 25-meter pool, I think, but most importantly, it's important to get that race experience at this distance. When I think of international age group championships, it feels like that's the point in time when you're a kid, and I just remember being a young kid and having achievement, whether it was a regional or a state meet. But I lived and breathed on the ability to go and race, and when I thought a meet was big, it really got me going. So I feel like you're filling a hole in the marketplace, and I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
Well, that's the energy we were trying to create from the very beginning. We were trying to create an event that had an appeal to it, that the kids would look forward to this thing and train hard for this thing each year, with the thought of getting to the meet and competing at this meet and seeing some people that they only see once a year, maybe from other countries other clubs throughout the country or other kids throughout the world, and create some friendships that are going to last all the way through to their senior years at the Olympics.
Now, if I'm a coach or I'm a swim parent and I want to register for this meet, can you drop the URL? How do I register?
So registration starts May 29th. And you could go to iagc.global. And that's where you can register. But registration start May 29th.
This is
and there's a quadruple time standard that you have in order to be qualified for the swimming.
So you're looking for
So we want
you're
we
looking
want the
for elite.
best.
You're looking for elite
Yes.
age groupers. I like this. We need an elite age group meet at the international level. Brian, this is a big undertaking, and of course you came to Ryan and said, "Hey, let's partner on this and bring some attention to this and some fun and excitement." But you also have some institutional and organizational partners that are included. A big one, in fact. Who is that?
We recently partnered with Pan Am Aquatics. We found that getting our reach to the international community, we were going to need some help. And through Pan Am Aquatics, we've got that entity that we can actually get out our word to the world community.
With your outreach on a global level, is it is this something where they stepped up and they understood it immediately? Do you have access to their database so how deep is this partnership?
It's pretty deep. Yes, we have access to their database. They're the ones that approached us, and they understood what we were trying to do. They got it, and they were all on board. We're bringing on some high-level officials, international officials that they're providing for the meet that will be on deck. Some Olympic starters will be on deck. They've really understood how big we want to make this event. So it's been a great experience so far with Pan Am Aquatics.
Also, I'm gonna be doing a promoting and visiting local clubs around the country. And some I will be doing a swim clinic there. So teams, if they want to get in touch, they could reach us through the website iagc.global. So we're gonna do like a little tour leading up to the swimming.
This is kind of an interesting year in terms of the world, and it's and as swim fans and as men with PhDs in the sport, it's I don't think that for the United States in particular, I don't think we've been in a situation where the international competition has been so frothy. On the men's side at Team USA, they're going into Olympics, and it doesn't feel like any one particular gold medal is a lock. And right now, probably the biggest star in the world is Leon Marchand out of France, and it feels like this record you got, Ryan, in the 200 AM might be on the block this summer. What do you think? And you want to call that?
Yeah, you know what? I hope it is. That's why we have records. They're meant to be broken. And there's no other person that I would know to break that is than him. Like I've seen just clips, like strolling through Instagram and seeing a clip of it that he did a 4 IM in like a dual meet and went just mind-blowing time. I was like, yeah, well, I think my world record's someone's gonna take a stab at it. But I mean that's why we have records. And and these kids for this swimming, these kids are gonna experience that. They're gonna have records. So I think it's gonna be a fun way for these little kids to get this atmosphere of a championship meet, a worldwide championship, an international championship meet of the best of the best. And these kids get that feeling. They're going to get that feeling of the Olympics because these kids from other countries, they're not swimming for their club team in other countries. They're swimming for their country, which is pretty cool. So they're going to get that kind of feeling. And then if you add a little Lochte Flair to it, it's going to be fun. Because you know me, I'm a big kid. And I want to make this fun for me because how I swam for so long at a older age is because I was having fun doing it. I was having fun swimming. And a lot of these kids, they're swimming's grueling. Everyone knows that. You swim up and down a pool, you train your butt off just to get a fraction of a second faster. Like it's very, very grueling. But I want these kids to know that like swimming is swimming. It's not your life. It Your life doesn't revolve around swimming. There's so much more to life. And I actually found that out when I had kids of my own. I was like, dude, swimming is just a sport that I love to do, that I'm okay at. Like, that's it. So I want to teach these kids that like there's more to life, but you can be the best you can and still have fun doing it. It doesn't have to eat, sleep, swim. You don't have to do that. You can enjoy life. So that's why we're bringing the Lochte Flair on. We wanted to bring more of a like a primetime sports production to the swimming and make it more fun. So our production team will step it up and have video on walls, staging them, even live video streaming for the family and friends for back home, so everyone could be involved. And it's gonna be high interactive, high tech features for all the visitors. There's gonna be video game booths, virtual reality sports rooms, official swimming pro shops. My merchandise line is gonna be out there. It's just gonna be the whole like 9 yards. Like if these kids break a record, I want to see freaking fireworks going everywhere. I want people to be like, what the heck did I just witness? Like, this is amazing. And we don't want to just do it a 1 year thing. We want to make this an annual thing. Um, and we like what I always wanted to do in the sport of swimming. I've told you this, Mill, that I want to make swimming bigger than what it is. And no better way to start than the younger generation, because that's where it starts with. It doesn't start with us. It starts with the younger generation. All right. And I want them to feel the love and passion that I feel and have fun doing it.
Brian, kudos to you for bringing this in. You brought in a ball of energy. What comes to mind is the there's I talked about Team USA not having any sure gold medals. This is one nation. It's not the world, but it's interesting that the world has gotten so competitive, which I see as positive. But we have a whole generation of kids who grew up, and I call them they are the Lochte and Phelps generation. They grew up on watching these two guys, go to battle, and they're in this new generation of age group swimmers they seem like they are having more fun and they're swimming faster, and their expectation about what the sport can do for them is so much more. And I'm surprised this wasn't done 10 years ago. Back when, yeah, I know.
Well, Mel, I'll tell you, one of the other inspirations that came along is, swimmers like you and Ryan and Michael. I mean, you guys all experienced national age group records in yards and long course meters. We came up with this short course meters with the thought that the short course meters records are probably very old. And it's going to be really cool to see national age group records getting broken, maybe heat by heat, maybe just event, and a kid that is get to experience.
Yeah, Brian, we're gonna have to have a lot of fireworks then.
Well, we're gonna have a laser light show. I don't know if they're gonna let the pyrotechnics come in. I wanted those, but I'm not sure they're gonna let those come in. But there'll be a laser light show. I guarantee you that. But like Ryan said, we want to make this so interactive and so special for everybody, from the parents who've spent their whole lives sitting in swim pools for hours on end. We're going to have interactive stuff for the parents. All the volunteers, we're going to make the rooms for them, the meals for them special. This is going to be a top notch and over the top kind of interactive meet for everybody.
You can kick it off the first year and you have a great experience. It seems to me that there are no secrets in swimming, and we're going to cover this as news because it's race news is our bread and butter at SwimSwam. But I find that parents talk to parents and coaches talk to coaches, and if they have a great experience, this is something that they'll demand that it happen the following year and year after year after year. Yeah. I do like the idea that,
and that's why we don't want to make it just amazing for the swimmers. We want to make it amazing for the visitors, the spectators, for even the officials. Like the hospitality for the officials. They're not gonna get like cheeseburgers and like hot dogs. No, we're gonna go like hibachi grill or something amazing. Like, so everyone that is involved in this swim meet, spectators, visitors, the swimmers, the athletes, the officials, everyone, they're gonna experience something freaking amazing.
Yeah, we want it. We want everybody to come.
I just want to ask you this one question. Going the 13th to the 19th, it feels like an international schedule, and that's a big meet. That's something that kids aren't exposed to at a young age. And I think if you really want to sharpen your knife and you have a dream of going on and being an elite, you need to get ready to race over many days. Was that part of the reasoning why you went with such a large schedule?
The championship will be swim. It's going to be swim and short course meters, and most international competitors have swam internationally. All right, but the U.S. swimmers, they haven't experienced that, and so now the international swimmers, they can gain that international ranking, and they can get that feel. I want them to get that feel of an Olympic like championship meet environment, because when they do go to the Olympics, they've already done this. And then they're having fun. All right. It's not like grueling. It's still going to be hard, but they're having fun doing it, and they've already seen it. They've already experienced it. So they're not afraid. They're not nervous. They can go out there and do what they've done. Do what they do every, and just go out there and have fun and race tough.
Brian, this question's for you. I think you and I are a little closer in age, and I've sat back for decades and watched the sport so closely, and I think that everyone who's in the culture and in the swimming family really want to see improvement. I'm curious, how long has this idea been knocking around in your head? Is it, what was the moment when you were like, this needs to happen and this is what it should look like?
Yeah, I mean, it really happened when I was at Olympic trials. I was there for wave one, and I saw, the light show that started before the finals started. And, I've always felt like the kids that swim in Olympic trials are being groomed to swim at the Olympics. They're put in the same environment that's going to be at the Olympics. They get like one shot at it, and that's a tough thing. That was hard for me. It was one shot. So the more and more exposure they get to that kind of environment, the better prepared they're going to be when it's the main stage. So I started thinking about, well, how far down do we go to 13-year-olds, 10-year-olds? I mean, where do we let these kids start to have fun and experience what big swimming is all about? And it just started evolving to the point where the structure of this meet is going to be a heats and finals meet where you'll have 13, 14, 15, 16 swimming, but the finals are going to be, it's birth year only. So the 15-year-olds will compete with the 15-year-olds, the 16-year-olds with the 16-year-olds in the finals. But in the heats, it'll be 13, 14, 15, 16. And what Ryan was talking about with the quad A times, what we're doing for the internationals, because we want the kids to bring their friends. If one of the kids qualifies from an international team, they get to bring a couple of their friends that also qualify, so that they're not traveling alone. We really want this to be a very, very enjoyable experience for everybody. We want the kids to be like Snapchatting, Twittering, Facebooking all through the whole meet, all the way down to the medal that we've created. We asked Ryan to give us the coolest medal, not the most prestigious, but the coolest medal he ever got. When they took it out of the box and put it around his neck, wow, this is cool. And we're making the mold of our logo in that medal, so that the kids are going to experience, the coolest medal Ryan had.
There's something you both have brought up, and Ryan in particular saying he wants this to be fun, and it did feel like when I was young, and you probably understand this, Brian, is that swimming was hard. This is a tough sport. If I talk to anybody that's young and that are swimming year round, I'm like, this is a badge of honor. You have a lot of discipline to do this. It didn't get fun, really fun in terms of just pure joy and a sense of pride until late in my career when I did events like this. So I guess my question is, you're going to have the kids go and they have this experience, and then they have this takeaway moment. How can you stay with their experience? It's something I don't think that anyone's done with a big event which is staying engaged. It's with the parents and with the athletes and with the coaches. So the big event happens, and then I see the event start, promotions and engagement and emails, 10 months out. It's like 10 months out. Hey guys, this is happening. This is what happened last year. This is how we did it. This is what we're going to do next year. Is that going to be a part of how you engage people that participate in this meet?
We're talking about a bunch of different angles to take this meet in. I mean, based on how receptive this first one is, we're talking about doing a long course version of this event, and possibly for the internationals, maybe even doing a yards version of it. Bring the internationals over, let them swim yards and see how they do yards wise. We're looking at a lot of different angles of where to take this thing, but right now we're just so focused on getting the first one under our belt and making sure the experience that everybody has, from the officials all the way down to the athletes, that they're talking about this thing, that it's not, they don't leave and they're talking about it. They're going home to their teams and they're saying, hey, we got to work hard and get back to this thing because it is really, really cool.
But we have Ryan on deck. Are you going to reach out to any other Olympians? There's a lot of Olympians in the Atlanta area.
So that's going to be kind of like what I'm pulling all of them. I'm going through my whole phone book of like all my like teammates that I swam against, being like, hey, because it's not for me. It's not like, oh, do this to make me look good. No, do this for the kids, because that's what we're here for. We're here to make the younger generation better. And like Cullen Jones, like all those guys, they're like big kids too. Like they would love to come and experience this. So like I'm even looking through my phone book of like my country artist friends to come and perform at the meet. Like I just want this to be jaw dropping. And I believe in it. I'm with Brian on this. Like he had this vision and I'm all aboard. And when he asked like if I want to be a part of it, I was like, is this for the kids? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh hell yeah, sign me up, I'm in. I don't care, you don't even have to pay me, I'm in, I'll do it, anything for the kids. So like, yeah, like what Brian said, we have to get the first one under the belt. But like same thing in like swimming, after the end year of a competition, you sit back and be like, hey, how can we make next year better? So that's what we're going to do after this meet. We're going to see how can we make the following year better. What do we need to do? What do's and don'ts we have to do, the X's and O's, and just keep building from it and making this something that every little kid, every little swimmer wants to come to.
I've been talking to Ryan Lochte and Brian Wilson, co-founder of the International Age Group Championships, coming up December 13th through the 19th in Atlanta at Georgia Tech. Registration starts on the 29th. We're going to drop in the link where you can register in the show notes. And we're going to be checking in with you guys as we near this event, because something tells me that there's a lot of ideas. There are a lot of good ideas, and you're going to solidify everything that you want. And this is going to be more and more and more and focused in terms of the offering and what kids can expect, and parents and coaches. In terms of just a takeaway and a closing thought, tell me. Let me ask you. We'll start with Ryan. What would you like to see? What would you like the parents to feel when they have this experience of this International Age Group Championships?
I want to see reactions like this.
Yeah.
Jaw dropping. I want to see tears from the parents, because they just watched their son almost feel like they broke a world, or their daughter break a world record, or get a gold medal like at the Olympics. I want that feeling of that emotion, that like, holy crap, my son or daughter just did this. Wow. And like the things that are going to be going around on the outside, it's just going to be like a big Disneyland for kids, but competing and seeing who's the best.
Brian, you get the closing thought here. What do you hope that they take away from this event? When it's happened, it's over, and it's like the final hand touches the wall.
I just want people to say that was awesome. How do we come back next year? That's it. I want excitement. I just want to see those smiles on the parents' face as much as the kids when they take their hands and they walk out of the facility, and just hear them talk about their experience. That'll be so satisfying.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam Podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam Podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.